You wake up early in the morning and you realize that you're in your late 30s or early 40s and you're almost ready to retire. I know it might seem far away for you, but for me, I'm pretty much there. But it's really never been too early to start thinking about it. Now, you might have questions like how much you need to save, how much you'll need once you retire, and how much you can withdraw. Those are all great questions, and I've been doing some serious research, preparations, and everything that I can in my power. Even watch other experts and try to get some of their opinions. And over the past few years, I've learned a lot of things about retirement. Now, what I want to share with you is what I've learned. I want to share with you 4 different experts who have different opinions on retirement planning. Each one of these experts has their own perspective, and it's important to listen to them, all of them, and decide which one works for you. So don't worry if you don't agree with everything that I say, because it's okay to take a little bit from each expert and create your own plan. After all, it's your retirement, and it has to work for you. Now, first up, I've been reading and listening to this guy, Dave Ramsey. We all know Dave Ramsey. I agree with some stuff, and I don't agree with a lot of his stuff. But he talks about finances and how to make most of your money, and he's got a ton of followers. He's been around for a long time, and he's known for being very conservative when it comes to debt and credit cards. And he thinks that you should pay off all your debts and save for retirement by putting away more than 15% of your paycheck. He assumes that you can get 12% annual return and you can withdraw about 8% safely over the years. Now, I know those numbers might sound good on paper, but you gotta be careful because historically speaking, the stock market has only returned an average of about 9% annually over the last century. And yes, there are some years where it does better, like in 2020, but we got 21% return, and that was an anomaly or like a unicorn. But there are also years where it does worse or even goes negative.
This is worse.
Now, we're talking about the next 10 years being a recessionary time period or the lost decade. That's what the experts are saying. So it's not wise to always assume that you'll always get 12% return and be able to withdraw 4 to 8% safely. So if you go too aggressive on those numbers, you could end up running out of money in your golden years, and that's not really something you want to experience because we kind of want to retire early. Next up is one financial advisor I listen to, Susie Orman. She has a lot more conservative approach to retirement planning, and she suggests that in the first 3 years of retirement, you shouldn't adjust your 4% withdrawal for inflation. And this might seem like a bummer, but it's to make sure you don't run out of money too soon as well. Now, she also recommends having 2 to 3 years worth of expenses saved in an emergency fund by the time you retire. Now, this is more than most advisors suggest, but it's because she wants you to be prepared for anything. Now, if the stock market crashes and your portfolio takes a hit, you can dip into your emergency fund instead of selling your investments at a loss. Once the market recovers, you can replenish your emergency fund. Now, it might seem a lot to do and a lot to save, but it's worth it to have that peace of mind in retirement.
For your peace of mind.
Susie Orman takes a very conservative approach to finances, which means she's not really a fan of the movement. She wants you to be financially secure for the long haul and not just try to retire early and hope for the best. Speaking of retiring early, let me tell you about this guy called Mr. Money Mustache. He's got a blog that teaches people how to retire early and live their life on their own terms. He's pretty cool, and he retired at an age of 30, which is amazing, by cutting out any unnecessary expenses, saving a large portion of his income. And it's also important to remember that the things that matter most in life aren't necessarily the things that cost the most money. The key is to cut back on things that don't really bring you joy or value and put your money towards the things that really matter to you. And a lot of people like cars, they like traveling. It really depends on the individual.
Let's go shopping.
Now, there's this rule of thumb called the 4% rule that Mr. Money Mustache talks about, and it's simple. You withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year in retirement, and the idea is that if you're living on less, you're going to need less money in retirement. But here's the thing, it's not just about boosting your income, it's actually more important to cut your expenses. This has a double effect, and it does give you more money every month, and it also reduces the amount you need to save every month for the rest of your life.
Money.
Next, I want to talk to you about this guy, David Bach, and he wrote the book, The Automatic Millionaire. His philosophy is pretty simple. It's something we can all learn from, and he talks about two different approaches. One is paying yourself first and not wasting money on little things that add up over time. What does that mean? It means putting yourself first, that before you pay your bills or buy anything else, you should save some money for yourself. If you don't save any money, then you're essentially living paycheck to paycheck, and that's not a good place to be in. Bach also talks about number two, which means how much you save. If you save just 5 to 10% of your pre-tax income, you'll be in the middle class. If you save 10 to 15%, you'll be in the upper middle class, and if you save 15 to 20% of your income, you'll be rich. And if you save more than 20%, you'll be rich enough to retire early. Now, I know you might be thinking, Leo, what does being rich mean? Do I need to have a fancy car? Do I need to have a big house? Do I have to really be considered rich?
We're rich! We're rich!
But Bach is talking about being rich in a specific way, and it's being able to afford your lifestyle at your current income level. Rich is different for everyone, and because everyone has different expenses, it really depends on what you want to do. And if you want to live in $1 million house, it's different. If you want to live in a $500,000 house, it's different. If you want to live in Thailand, it's different. So you probably might be saying, how do I get there, and how much do I really have to save, or how long should I really have to save? Well, he recommends you should be saving until you have about 10 times your annual income saved up in your retirement accounts. Once you hit that level, you're good to retire. Now, if you're struggling to save money, don't worry, because Bach recommends starting at just 1% more every month. And if you're currently saving 5, try saving 6. And if you're trying to save 10, save 11. It's all about taking baby steps and gradually increasing your savings over time. And when it comes to managing your finances, my advice is to save as much as you can while still enjoying your life. You never know what the future holds, so it's important to be prepared for anything. But that doesn't mean you should sacrifice all the things you enjoy. Find the balance that works for you, and if you want to take that vacation once in a while, then go do it. Because remember, no one cares more about your money and your future than you do. So take responsibility for finances and make sure that you're living your life in a way that makes you happy. If you found this helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.